our daily average in sales? And what if I divide the gross sales for the year by 365?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we did like 1.6 last year, and that translates to something like, I don't know, $4,600 a day. Mm-hmm. But if you were to ask me, like, what's that number that as long as I see that I'm like, cool, solid day, $2,000. Like any day that's $2,000, I'm like, cool, things are going the right direction.
How often do you check Shopify?
Oh, I still get notifications on it.
Oh, dude.
Like when shit sells, I still get notifications.
I probably refresh my Shopify app. I'm not bullshitting you. 250 times a day.
Oh, I bet that's very legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish it wasn't as directly connected to my serotonin and dopamine as it is.
It is.
It's super fucking
highs and lows.
Dude, on days that it's like, what do you mean we didn't sell anything? It's noon. like, and it's like, is something fucking broke on the website or something?
Refresh.
Yeah. Why is today the way it is?
We had this issue happen with Black Friday this year. This was a nightmare.
Oh,
no. Black Friday always like volume increases, so it exploits anything that's going to go wrong. And, it was a blowout for us. And we're like an hour in, all of a sudden our credit card merchant processor shuts off because of all the orders come in. They just assumed it was
fake.
So
Holy
no one could check out.
Motherfuckers.
No one could check out for 2 hours. And customer service wasn't picking up from credit card processing companies. We
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yo, that's like, I'll sue you.
Yeah.
I'll fucking sue you.
They could use PayPal.
But still.
We missed so many sales.
Of course, because, dude, it's path of least resistance.
Yeah. We missed so many sales.
Dude, I was so panicked last year, like when March hit and things, whatever this last year's been, right, started. I'm like, I don't sell a single thing people need. Like, I am not an essential business that anyone can kind of pretend that I am. Like, it's no fucking t-shirts. No one needs a goddamn new t-shirt.
I remember that day. I remember we, they shut businesses down. We were considered essential.
Yeah.
And
fuck, man. Wait, so what made you guys essential? Just because supplements and like food?
Food. It fell under food and nutrition. But I remember the day that happened. I went right to Bass Pro, and I was like, I'm gonna stock up on ammo.
Yeah,
everyone was stocking up on ammo, and we're about to prepare for a big hit.
Yeah, luckily I've already got a few thousand rounds. I got enough that if I burn through it, there's bigger problems.
Yeah, and I remember sales dipping for like a week.
Yep,
and then just blew up.
Right. Yeah, same deal. It's like people are locked in at home. This is fucking awesome for online business.
Stuff.
If you're operating the online retail space last year and didn't grow, you missed a big.
Yeah.
The one that we've seen where we've done well is I've reinvested and bought a screen printing company that was renting space from my guys at the warehouse in Topeka. Mm-hmm. And so now I own the screen printer that's in our warehouse.
That's smart. And
so the other service we offer is we now have a number of companies that we do all their fulfillment and printing and everything for. I can basically hand over my outsourced system and be like, all you got to do is come up with new shit. The rest of it, we'll take care of. We'll take care of customer service. We'll take care of everything. Go from there.
Yeah.
And, we have Donuts and Deadlifts is there. Jen Wiederstrom stuff is in our shop. Nick Bear's stuff. Not Nick Bear. Nick Kumalato stuff.
So this is the shop that you started working with. And then as you grew, you kind of just acquired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy who was running the screen printer is an older dude. And he wanted out just wanted to run the screen printing thing. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to manage a business anymore. And so we picked it up from him, and he's still doing all the printing. We just pay him as a guy.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And so that's nice because that immediately changed profit margin without us having to sell anything extra.
What percentage would you say?
Almost 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 across the board. And for what I bought the screen printer for, in under a year, it pays itself.
That's like if I can. One of my dreams one day is to control my manufacturing. Manufacturing supplements is like another beast, though. Where
Well, you're basically buying a lab.
yeah, and as much as I want to manufacture our own stuff, because our profit margins would go up 25%. You have to hire an entire new. You're starting a new business where it's like my focus would no longer be a brand.
Well, you're running a supplement manufacturer. Yeah, you're running a lab. Which at that point, is it cost efficient for them only to do your stuff, or do you now start like, hey man, we can white label supplements for you?
Yeah, but then it's like where's your focus? Where's your value really at?
I mean, if you could hire someone that can run that lab, and you don't have to ever waste any RAM on it, golden.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some wasted, like there has to be.
That'd be a perfect world.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you could hire another you, like that's really what you keep trying to hire.
If I could clone myself, that's what I need.
And you didn't have to pay him.
I would keep
Those are the two tricks.
I would keep one clone at the office. I could then spend more time with Steph.
Right. And then have one go train.
Yeah, one goes train for me. Perfect world.
Oh man. So hey, you said you're 4 days out from marathon.
4 days out.
Where are you running it?
We actually created our own marathon. So check this out.
All right, so it's all virtual.
It's not virtual.
All right.
I signed up for all these marathons.
They got canceled.
And they all get canceled because of COVID. So I finally got tired of just these marathons being canceled. So I worked with my Ironman prep coach and my running coach, and we decided to put our own marathon together. Whoa. So we found this ranch out in the middle of Texas. We got it certified. So
how many people do you have to have show up for it to be considered like an official? You ran it, and this qualifies you for a thing.
I don't know what the minimum is. We have 40.
Fucking A, all right.
So it's essentially half of the BPN team is running it. That's
awesome.
And then my marathon coach.
I hope you have some of them just forced that are like, we're not runners. Why are we out here?
Well, the one guy, George, he's running a marathon. He's like, I ran like a few times the past, like, I'll be good. But the course is certified. There's going to be, we're getting chipped. There'll be a live tracker online, Boston qualifier. It's signed off by the county judge. We have the sheriff's office there. It's like legitimate race.
100%, right. Like, I didn't mean it in any way like we'll do our own and then weird, I qualified.
Yeah. No, but people like,
of course,
we had to do our due diligence because originally I was going to run the marathon in Utah. It's right out by Salt Lake City, but it's net 2,500 foot decline in elevation. So even though like running downhill it's going to blow up your quads.
Oh yeah.
It's harder.
It's still faster.
I still didn't want people to say, "Oh, well, you ran." You know what I mean? So any reason, yeah.
Fuck you, people.
I put a year and a half of prep into this. I'm going to like do this the way I want to do it. So the course is 6.5 miles out, 6.5 back. It has net elevation of increase of like 400 feet overall. So it's not bad. And it is in like the middle of nowhere where there's not gonna be any cars. We're surrounded by like steers and longhorns the entire time. 4 days. 4 days out.
That's exciting though, dude.
I can't wait.
Plus, oh man. So one of those things I think about, like, I never got to compete in like all my years with the Highland Games and sleep in my bed the night before.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I've always been on the road. And so like, that's one of those things that I'm like, oh man, it'd be nice. You're in your world. Like, what a cool advantage.
Well, we can control a lot of things.
Yeah, of course.
Which is nice because, we were comparing to Austin's marathon last year where you park like 5 miles out, you walk to the starting line, you're like, where the shit do I put my keys? Here it's like, we drive up, we set up, put our stuff where we need it to be. No one's coming to mess with it.
Nope.
And I can just focus on running.
Dude, that's when we went out to Arizona to help Dan do his ultra a few weekends ago. That's really how I felt about it, man. I was like, look, dude, our goal here to help you is I just want you to have to run. Like, your perfect day as an ultra runner who does trail stuff is like, you have to get tired of being bogged down in the bullshit of like, what about my clothes or food or any of these type of things? And like, all you have to do is run until you can't anymore. And we'll do everything we can to fuel that.
And that's what's cool about events like that is when you have this support team.
Yeah.
I've never done an ultra. I want to.
Okay.
But I've like watched the documentaries and the videos, and I saw, is it Dan? Rasta runner?
Yeah, Dan Hogan,
I've seen him on Instagram. When I saw him coming in from that ultra, he sits in the chair, and it's just like other ultra marathons you watch. You sit in the chair to rest up real quick, and you're just like, what do you need?
Dude, we full pit teamed him.
Peanut butter and jelly. Like, I need ointment here. I need a Band-Aid here. And yeah, you have people like changing socks and shoes.
There's people hitting him with a Theragun, like, you know.
But it's like, when you pull yourself back and look at it from perspective, all these people, their only goal for that like moment in time is to help you succeed.
Yeah.
And you don't find that in many other places.
No, and you know, for me as an athlete, like I've been lucky enough to get some times where like, you know, the only thing I have to give a shit about is that task. And like, what a cool focus that feels like when you get those windows that like all the other noise and things in your RAM, especially on competition day. And like, that's how I always felt about it is, man, this is the only thing I have to give a shit about. Like just throw today, just throw far. All the work's done. So just enjoy being here. Enjoy the little bit of elevation from being at a competition. Enjoy the environment. Enjoy the push from your fellow competitors. But the work's done.
Hayes in the barn.
Hayes in the barn, man. There's nothing to panic about anymore. Now it's just perform.
And what's interesting about that too is the distractions from like social media, the outside world, all that kind of stuff. It kind of just like disappears.
It goes away.
You forget about it.
Yeah.
And you don't get that very often.
No, it's really
today.
nice.
So it's really nice. Like one of the things I was thinking about this morning, like our workout this morning was 2 mile easy warm up. And then we did 6 times 1 mile repeats at marathon pace, which was 6:45.
You're running this. Okay.
And then 2 mile.
So fucking slow and running.
2 mile cool down. And I was thinking on today's run, this is like the best running shape I've ever been in my life. But like 2 things. One, the feeling of just being comfortable moving fast is something a lot of people never get to experience.
Yeah.
And like truly just soak in this moment. And the other thing was like nothing else matters other than just being focused on like this mile right here. And a lot of people don't get that like that opportunity, that the ability to focus on this one thing and nothing else matters.
Yeah, man, it's so good. And I think that's what's like so strong within your business, like you getting to build that team around you that you trust of talented people, right? Like the people you should be hiring. And for me was, you know, bringing on Brant, which now eliminates video editing from a thing I have to do, which I'm not great at and I'm not terribly passionate about. I'm doing it well enough to try to do the job. Whereas bring on someone who gives a shit, and then I don't need to have to think about video editing anymore. So that frees up 10 hours a week probably from when you were shooting and editing all of your own stuff.
Oh, dude. I was talking to Steph about this the other night. It was only a year and a half ago where I was still shooting and editing all my stuff.
Right.
And I would go from like, the thing is I'm still working the same amount of time.
Yep.
But my like footprint that I'm able to like leave and push is so much larger now. Where before it was almost like you're tunnel visioned.
You have to be.
It's task by task by task. And the best part about building a team with people who are truly like passionate and driven and experts in their craft is you can go back to like this 10,000 foot view and be like, holy shit, I was missing like this entire battlefield this entire time because I was in the trench.
Yeah. So,
you know?
So that concept, I started thinking about, I was flying, I guess, a few months ago, and I was looking out the window of the airplane, looking at like a city, right? And like looking at that city as the way you think or roadblocks or whatever it is of you trying to get from point A to point B. And how many of those barriers and red lights and other people and their bullshit slows down your transfer from place to place. Plus there's speed limits and there's detours and road construction and all these things in your way. But because you're only operating there, which is what I'd consider like that time when you're having to do everything. And so like every minute matters. And then as soon as you can kind of start building that team, like you get to travel where airplanes do. And you get to see the whole thing, and there's less wind resistance, and you can move up, down, left, and right to make decisions instead of just forward and back.
Yeah.
And so, and then from there, it was kind of that, the further of that concept is like, how many roadblocks and detours have I put in my way? And how do I start eliminating those?
That's true.
Of like, where do you lie to yourself? Of like, oh, we can't do that because of whatever the made up reason is.
It's interesting because I've had the same thought process recently. I'm sure we'll dive into this, but I'm so passionate about building a team and developing a team. I think I got a taste of this, not a taste, but I first experienced it in the military.
Right.
Right? When I was graduated college, went into the military, I was a platoon leader in the infantry, and I was forced into this leadership role with these 40 guys, working under me. And I'm trying to learn this new job, and I learned so much from my platoon sergeant, squad leaders, company commander, battalion commander, and I apply a lot of those lessons back to business. Now, I've never been to war. I've never been deployed, but in training, the concept's similar.
Well, it's still management. It's still leadership. It's still motivating, right? Trying to get your team to go the direction you'd like the team to go.
Yep. But like the way I describe to, like say Jordan, our creative director, he now has creatives working under him, 3 creatives. And I was describing to him, it's like, when the military goes into war, they send the infantry in. The infantry goes into this city, and it could be chaos. There's firefights, there's grenades launching, there's dust or smoke. You can't see anything. All you can see is the door in front of you. So you're entering a room, you're clearing a room, you're trying to decide where to go next. You don't know what's 200 yards to the front of you, to the left, to the right, behind you. So what do? You call birds in. So the birds come in over top of you, and they paint you a picture on what's on the ground, and they maneuver you. Well, as a creative director, as myself, like you have to be that bird up in the sky that is maneuvering your team, and they're in the trenches. They can only see maybe 100 feet in front of them. You move them to where they need to be, and they execute while they're down there.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, right? That like having someone to kind of be the GPS that can kind of tell you like, yo, there's going to be in 5 miles ahead, there's a roadblock. And if we make a left turn right now, we can avoid that roadblock. Having someone to kind of give you that bird's eye view or, overlook of something, because a lot of time when you're in it, like what you're saying is you can only see that door ahead. And especially you end up so task driven that it's just the next door instead of being able to look at the whole picture and be able to tell the guys who are stuck in that mindset of what's the next door, but making sure they're going through the right doors.
Yeah. And that's what endurance training has done for me. That's why I enjoy like these long runs, these long bike rides. It's because I'm working on a daily basis. Most of the time, I'm in it. Like I'm tunnel visioned. I'm seeing the issues, creating solutions. Things are coming up. But in the morning when I have that like 7-8 mile run, everything is clear. And it's like that one time of the day, I don't have my phone on me, there's no distractions, and I'm just thinking big picture stuff.
Dude, it's cool, right? Because it creates this mindfulness meditation. And for me, like I'm not a dude who does well with meditation of like getting still and like going to lay somewhere. That's a lot of work for me, and I'll actually get some anxiety because I feel like I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
But if I can get on the trainer or do a long bike ride or something like, especially if I'm going to get on something like the Katy Trail back in St. Louis, it's 230 miles of gravel road that's flat. It's about as mindless pedaling as it can be. And like when you're on that and just on that trail, like I don't need to think about left and right or any of this, and everything on my body's busy. And so I don't feel like I'm wasting time. So then it frees this up to kind of slowly tick away at like, okay, what are the what are the things that we need to think about of going forward and growth and what's next, because everything's busy.
Yeah. What do you do? You know, we're both business owners. Mm-hmm. What do you do like when you're in this position? And what I love about business owners is we're creating our own blueprint.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone is just treading water as fast as they can.
Yeah. There's no book on like, here is an 8-step process to be successful. You get to step 1, you're like, well, fuck, none of this applies to me.
None of this applies anymore, right?
I'm trying to figure this out. What do you personally do when you get to a point, and I think I know the answer, but when you don't have a solution for the problem you're experiencing? Like, from my view, you have a lot of people in your network that you go say, hey, I'm experiencing this. Like, how do I fix this shit? Have you ever been through this?
Absolutely. For me, I always reach out to that network. I always reach out to those guys like Rob or Kelly Starrett or Mark or any of these other people that I've just been fortunate enough to be close friends with and take. Usually I'll sample more than one person, depending on the thing.
Yeah.
And that way I can kind of form at least an idea of a direction. You know, I know that me following it to the T isn't the answer, but for sure it's me being able to reach out to those people, Hayden and Steffi, and, you know, even just run a concept by of like, hey, does this make sense? Like I did that when I started building out the new gym, because part of it was like, man, I'm investing 70 or 80 grand into a building that's probably worth 40 and I don't own it and I'm never going to own it.
And it's not necessarily open to the public to,
and it's not permanent.
Have this clear return.
And so it's trusting that because we can make better content, because we can do the podcast will do better, we'll make that money back.
It makes sense.
Right. I'm pretty confident in that, but still like the overall on paper, it's a terrible fucking investment. Like if I just look at it like, you know, I don't get to take any of that plywood with me to the next location. I can take gym equipment, but like the floor's gone. All the construction we did is gone. And then, you know, calling up Rob and, you know, and being like, cause he's done it, you know, they've rented places and built stuff and done all that. And I'm like, yo, what do you think? And Steffi and Hayden have it now in Miami. They have 2 locations that they don't own the buildings to, that they have poured a ton of energy and, cash into, but because it creates content and because it helps build your universe and because you can then do things more efficiently and faster, you can do more things instead of having those fucking roadblocks to decide to do a thing. Like that's the reason that I have a nice road bike, but that's not the one that lives on my trainer, because I know me well enough that if I have to take my bike on and off the trainer every time I want to use it, that's an extra step that I'll avoid sometimes. I have to fucking get rid of that step.
I feel you on that one.
You know, I learned at this point, I'm done arguing with me of like, no, we'll be better and do that. I'm not gonna. So I have to eliminate the hurdle. It's like every one of my travel bags has a laptop charger in it. So I can't fuck that up. It's easier for me to buy 4 laptop chargers and put them in anything I could possibly ever grab. You know, keep one in my truck, just never leaves.
Yeah.
Or memory cards. Like I'm not keeping track, so I need 30 of them spread out so I can always grab one somewhere.
I've become a huge fan of that, as well as convenience and doing things smarter rather than harder. Like the laptop charger.
Yep.
That's a clear example. I used to unplug it, unweave it out of my desk every day.
Terribly inefficient.
Yeah, and it was like, why don't I just buy another one?
Right. I have $30.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I also, going back to like, I've become a huge fan of audiobooks. Yeah. Especially since starting Ironman prep. If I'm sitting on the bike for 3 hours.
You can't do music.
No.
Music, I learned that doing long drives. You can't operate at 3 and 5 minute intervals.
No.
I need an hour of a thing.
I haven't listened to any music during any of my Ironman prep so far, or I don't listen to any music during my runs. During my runs, that's where I'm just like in my head thinking.
Oh, so you don't listen to anything?
Nothing. On the bike is when I listen to audiobooks. And I have found that like certain audiobooks I've read come at perfect times in my life. Like there was this one I recently read, The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Okay.
That was one of the best books I've ever listened to or read. And it just came to me at the perfect point in my life in terms of business and building a team and making hard decisions.
So the hard thing about hard things.
Hard thing about hard things.
Okay.
Great book. And I'll come back to, if I read a really good book, I'll come back to the BPN team. Like, hey, I highly recommend all of you guys listen to read this. But I found that, like, listening to these books, reading these books, a lot of the times, depending on what the book is, it comes to me at a perfect time in my life where it answers these questions for me. Where I'm like, I needed this, like, so bad. So I just wanted to, like, kind of hear what you do.
Yeah, and dude, I fully agree with that too. And I think part of that, I guess one of the ways I've looked at it and, exploring more, I guess, traditional and or non-traditional ways of performance enhancement over the last couple of years. One of them with those type of things is like being really open to anything. And then as long as, trying to remove those roadblocks, like I said, and the other one is kind of trying to be a little bit more in tune with vibration of the universe, if I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it. And for me, the way I describe that is, man, I know that there's so many times I'll try to force a thing because I think it's right, or I used to. And now I'm way more willing to like, if this is fighting that much, why are we doing this? There's got to be a solution that's less of a hassle to try to iron will my implementation of it into the system.
Yeah.
Or in my relationship, or it'd be one of those of like, oh man, I want to buy a Jeep. Like something stupid, even something like that. Like I want to buy a Jeep, and then I'm going to search. And then there's never the one that's a fuck yeah. But if I get too caught up in like, I want a Jeep, I'll make the wrong decision. So I'm way better being patient. And typically the universe will fucking provide the right answer when it's supposed to.
I'm typically a very impulsive person.
Oh, dude, yeah,
same boat. I think most business owners are.
Yeah, man, because I'm aware I'm dying at some point. So we may as well get busy.
It's like there's this interchangeable action and impulsiveness.
Yeah.
They're like hand in hand. Because people who aren't impulsive typically don't take like some sort of action. So they're constantly falling into the analysis by paralysis type mindset. But I think a lot of that also comes with ego, and that's one thing I was thinking about when you were talking about that is like, we get so married to this idea where like, I want this to be this way. We have to do it this way. A lot of that's like internal ego.
Of course.
It's like you want something to happen a certain way because in your mind you played it out that way. Mm-hmm. And that's something I'm trying to get better at as well, is like removing this internal ego and allowing myself to be open to, if something works, it works.
Dude, and oddly enough, right? Like, so right conversations at the right time. So this is something I've worked on a lot. And the way I kind of describe that concept is that's the difference between expectations and intentions for me. Now, I want to set intention on a project. And setting intention for me is figuring out what port I have in mind, because then I can figure out what wind I need. But if I set expectations are to me I'm saying I already know how the journey's going to go. And if it doesn't match my idea of how the journey goes, then there's disappointment.
Yeah.
Whereas intention is, I just want to go over there. Whatever gets us over there, I don't care. As long as we got to go where I was hoping to go. How we get there is far less important to me.
Yeah.
And so that gives some freedom to my team, to other people that I don't micromanage. Yeah, I like giving input, and let's set direction, because even micro adjustments, because the better you can get at listening to those little intuitions of like, oh, this doesn't feel right. Like even if that is, instead of you traveling straight for the next 10 years, pivots a thing a half a degree. Like where those two endpoints up now are wildly different, even at a half a degree swing 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And so allowing yourself the freedom to make those swings instead of saying, this is how we're going, and getting locked into an expectation. That to me is ego.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Whereas being able to go like, how do we all go forward? And then I'm not that interested in being right anymore. And as long as the whole thing's going the direction I want, I'm winning.
Yeah, I think that's an issue a lot of, I don't want to just say business owners, but
I think people,
and especially like whether it's a family or you have a team, you know, the bigger that family gets, the bigger that team gets, you lose, whether you believe it or not, you lose a little bit of control in the trajectory of where it's going. You need to provide, like, I need to provide to my team, like, my vision, my intentions, and I set expectations, but those expectations aren't.
Well, I think goals are great.
Goals.
Expectations are different than goals to me.
When I say expectations, I mean, like, this is what I expect you to do in the next, not how it's going to be done.
Right.
Like, here's my expectations on how or where I expect us to be in 30 days. How we get there, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And within those 30 days, we might change goals completely.
Of course.
So those expectations, you know, are changed completely as well. But one of the big words that we've used in this last year is intention. Like, intention behind everything.
Everything. It all matters.
It does.
Right. And so I landed on that idea. I guess probably 2 years ago or so, like it became very, very clear to me that I don't have to fucking do anything. Nothing. If I want to lay on the fucking couch, I can. I don't have to do shit. Now, there's positive and negative consequences for all those decisions I want to make. And so because I don't have to do anything, especially like I don't have to go to an office. I don't have to do this today. I could probably get it done tomorrow. You know, there's priority list of shit that happens as being an owner or CEO or whatever it is for the stuff or even life. And so because I don't have to do shit, I'm not obligated. And if I'm not obligated, that means I'm doing it by choice. And if I'm doing it by choice, go all in.
Yeah.
Because if we're not, what the fuck are we wasting our time for? And for me, like, I'm not smart enough to half-ass decisions successfully. I've learned that, and I'm done trying to lie to myself that I can. And so unless it's something that I'm going to pour the coals to and feel all the way about, it's not going to work. And if it's not going to work, don't waste any time on it. Just admit that to yourself and move on.
I think I go all in sometimes. I think some of us do. Maybe you're the same way. Is because we're not smart enough to realize the risk that we're taking.
I don't think you can be risk adverse and do what we do. No. Like, I mean, like, dude, I look at that and like what we talked about, like the growth that you've seen in your business over the last year. Like, yo, there's a certain amount of balls it takes to sit in that seat and not go like, everything's going great. But instead of looking at like, yo, what are we missing? How can we be doing better? Because now we have this influx. Instead of, holy shit, don't grow anymore because what if this is a spike and then it goes away?
Yeah.
And like, man, you got to roll the dice.
Well, but my goal and my job that I see is I'm the person, now that we have this team established and built, and we're always building the team, there's always infrastructure being built. My job, and I kind of think of it like metaphorically, is we're in this like new piece of land and BPN is this truck and there's this plow in front and I'm driving it. I'm just like slowly pushing the plow through this dirt. Mm-hmm. And my goal is just keep pushing this plow through the dirt.
Moving dirt, dude.
Just moving dirt and pushing us forward.
Something Wellborn says. And he's like, look, no matter what it is, life is just a big pile of dirt. Some days you got a forklift and other days you got a spoon. But you just got to move dirt that day.
Yeah.
And because the dirt's never going away. There's no there. It's all process. And I think people who look at success from the outside in want to believe that that's like, when did you make it? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I always feel like I barely am. I'm at the edge of control.
Yeah.
All the time, which is where I'm happiest. Clearly, because that's what I keep choosing.
Well, I'm listening to Phil Knight's book right now, Shoe Dog. And it's a really good confidence boost to realize you're reading Nike's story, listening to it. It's like, oh, shit. I've been in that same spot. Like,
right. It's scalable.
That feels pretty good. Yeah. Because you look at these big successful companies like Nike, and you just assume they've had their shit together since the beginning. But it's it's like this journey where they're figuring out just the same way we're all figuring it out.
Dude, I occasionally like something will come up and I'll just think about like the inside of how that's affecting that business at the moment and like what the reality of that is. So like watching the fights the other night, ESPN had a big fuck up on their app to get the fights. Like one hole of the fights from the main card got missed before they could get it fixed. And so like watching stuff online, like ESPN's customer service complaints went from like nothing to like fucking 9,000 emails in a 20-minute span. And I'm like, all I can think about is like, yo, there are some dudes in a room somewhere right now losing their fucking mind and being yelled at. And someone's like, have we unplugged it? Did we try unplug it and starting it again? Like, why isn't this working? It worked yesterday. And like just that situation. I'm like, oh man, poor dudes.
And you can almost like, what that feeling feels like.
Yes, that panic of like, it's your Black Friday and like our credit card machine's not working. Why isn't this has never been a problem? This was a guaranteed thing that we didn't have to fix today.
It's like an elephant sitting on your chest.
Oh God.
And you're just like, who do I call? There's no one to call.
There's no one coming to save you.
You're
dude.
helpless.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing you can do. Like there's points where there's nothing you can do.
Nope.
And that's where like you learn to build these contingencies and backup plans all the time. But at some point, like you can't avoid these moments. And it feels like you just want to, like, it feels like something's on your chest.
Right. I mean, I think about, how did you deal with the exact same feeling that essentially comes from you preparing for this marathon and then the world closing down, like as you're peaked, ready to do a thing that you spent months and like part of a year changing your body for one, and then committing to this. And I'm sure part of that too, like, you committed to a thing that's a total different than what your audience showed up for originally.
Right.
And I know people get, I'm sorry. Why are you losing weight? This doesn't make sense. Like, man, I'm doing a new thing. Like, that's all it is.
It's like different goals. Like
right. I'm allowed to change, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, committing to that to a year, even though that the world isn't providing the opportunity for you to get it done, like you made your own way to get it done.
Yeah. Well, part of it's like I committed in the beginning. There's no way I'm stopping now. I'll just keep training.
Yeah.
I can just keep building fitness. And the thing is, the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of this race is that those races were canceled, because from when those races were canceled till now is when I learned the most about endurance sports and endurance training than I ever have before. Like these last couple of months,
like working with the coach and
in terms of just heart rate training, fueling for endurance, like form for running technique.
Not just go absolutely as hard every time you go out and try to do better than last time.
I used to run so stupid. And like, I think the military instilled that in me.
Well, no.
We'd have like 5 miles to run. And if it was 5 miles, it's a race.
Yeah, right. It's a race.
And I learned so much about just heart rate training and maffetone method and running within certain, like wearing a chest heart rate monitor. And
what is maffetone method?
So maffetone method, I forget the guy's full name. His last name was Maffetone, I believe. And essentially you take, is it 180 minus your age. So I'm 30 years old. 180 minus my age, 30 is 150. So 150 is the max aerobic heart rate that I should be running at. Doesn't mean it's my max heart rate.
No, of course.
My max aerobic. So to run in an aerobic state, my heart rate shouldn't go over 150.
Now, how did you pick the 180, or is that just the standard?
That's it. The equation.
All right. So mine's like 142.
Yeah. So when you go to do your easy aerobic based runs,
heart rate needs to stay there
under 142, within a 10 beats per minute variance. So it should be 132 to 142.
Okay.
So when I run, I have my chest heart rate monitor on. I'm monitoring it through my watch. I won't run over 150 if the run is an easy, slow run. So by running in that aerobic state, you're building your aerobic base.
You're building the base.
You're building your base.
Okay.
And then you use speed workouts like tempo runs, interval
training
to build speed. But the way I got faster is by running slower, running easier. And
that makes sense.
What I was doing wrong is I was previously going out and running all my runs like a 7:15 pace, which is too fast. My heart rate was probably 160.
Yeah, and you can't hold.
No, you can't hold
and
that.
You're never going to be able to.
Nope, it does not build.
Right. It doesn't work linear progression as simply as like the same way weights do.
Yeah, and coming from a bodybuilding strength training background, I just applied that same knowledge, like, and it didn't work.
Right.
So then,
well, it does. You're just using you're measuring the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Instead of measuring heart rate, you're measuring distance or time. Instead of like how long can I stay in this zone,
right,
as the progress mark.
So when we made those adjustments, my ability to hold faster paces for longer periods of time just like skyrocketed.
Oh man, interesting. Okay, cool. That helps because like even me training for this run, and one of the things I wanted to do today is like, you've got a treadmill here, I assume.
Yep. Yeah, we have a treadmill.
Let you look at me run. And if there's anything I can learn from it, sweet, because I'm terrible at it.
There was this run coach that came in on Instagram. She's RX Run, Valerie Hunt. She came in and did an instruction for the whole BPN staff. And one of the things she was talking about is everyone's focused on when you're running your strike. Like, are you a midfoot strike? Are you a heel striker? And the way she describes it, you should never be focused on the strike. You're really just focused on pulling your back leg up with your hamstring and falling forward. So you should be essentially falling forward with gravity the entire time, and you're focused on just pulling your feet off the ground.
Getting your feet back in the way.
Yeah, not pushing your feet out. Because if you're pushing your feet out, it's almost like you're stopping. You're stopping yourself.
Okay.
So when I run now, I just focus on pulling that leg up and falling forward.
Okay.
And it kind of places your body in the proper position to effectively and efficiently move.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Again, I love, like, I want to get better at all these things. Like, kind of where my mind shift now that, like, I'll never do Highland Games again. But, like, where things now kind of, that my interest is I want to know what else this machine's capable of. I already know what it can do, that thing.
Yeah.
And look, I'm probably not going to find another athletic thing that I'll be best in the world at. Probably not. I'm good with that. Most people don't find one. Sick. I found one. Really pumped on it. But now, like, how many things can I steal all the newbie gains from and then move on?
Newbie gains are the best.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to steal newbie gains from like 9,000 different things and then move on.
Well, the thing with endurance too is it's something everyone can build.
Yeah.
And it builds pretty quickly. And it's sustainable. For
me, it really shifted. I did last year, I guess, right when COVID started. Well, this would have been like February. I did the tour to Sufferlandia on the Sufferfest app for cycling.
Okay.
So it was like 14 days of just intervals. And my cardio ability from that 14 window went through the roof and really has held pretty good. Like, as long as I can kind of hold the standard of 100 miles a week on the bike, it stays.
Is that what you shoot for?
Yeah, that's kind of my line of, like, if I can put in the 100 miles a week on the bike, on the trainer, so 20 miles a day, everything feels pretty good. My back feels good. My hips feel pretty good. My knee doesn't bother me too much. Now, if I start pushing to like 160, 170, I get beat up.
Yeah.
And so I just know that I need more time doing 110, 120 miles.
What do your rides look like? Are they like high wattage, or is it just?
So like an average wattage for me, if I'm doing an hour, I think it's like 220, 230 wattage for an hour. And then like my like FTP stuff, my 20 minute is like 290, something like that watts. My 5 minute is around 500. And then my 10 second is 750, 800 or something like that. And then my main haul ass out sprint is like 12 or 1300 watts.
Yeah. Do you use Zwift?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Zwift.
I do too. I've never done any of the races or anything like that. I just get on and fuck around.
You know what's interesting is my first Ironman prep, I didn't use Zwift at all. So this is how different these Ironman preps are. Last year, my first Ironman prep, I had a manual trainer. So it's one of those trainers.
Yeah, I've had one. The mag trainer in the back, right?
It like spins on the top of puts pressure on your back tire.
Yep.
And I would just hop on there and like put on the biggest gear, and just hang out there.
Yeah, just hammer.
No fucking clue what I was doing.
Well, but it still works.
It still works, but like it was not necessarily. I wasn't maximizing efficiency on it. Then I started using Zwift this year with my coach, and she'll go in and put workouts, and I'll do races and stuff like that. And I get so much more out of that.
Yeah.
So much more.
Dude, Zwift is as good as training inside can be.
People always
I also will pick it over deciding to get fully kitted up and go ride outside.
That's the thing.
Because I don't need, and I don't need my spare kit. I don't need to grab fucking water or gels or bullshit or drive somewhere to go start my ride. If I need to ride for an hour, in an hour and 20 minutes, I'm completely decided to ride and done riding.
That's the best part about it.
Yes.
It's convenience. I get the question all the time, why aren't you riding outside? Why are you riding indoor? Same thing. It's convenience. I don't have to hop in my truck
and it's controlled.
It's controlled. It eliminates the variable of, okay.
Everything.
I have to go downhill. There's a stop sign. There's a car.
It's cold. It's wet.
Yeah. So I personally love Zwift right now. That's why
we're building. It's super fun.
That's why we're building this kicker room next door.
I can't wait to see the whole Zwift. Are you just basically building the one like they use on the ads?
So we're going to have like 4 kickers next to each other, mounted TVs with iPads.
You don't want to do a projector on the wall?
I don't think I can fit a projector just because there's going to be so many bikes next to each other.
Right.
But the intent is to do races together, or people can go in and do rides. But if you can do races together,
oh, that's pretty fun, man.
Like when you're riding, even riding with people on Zwift, like we'll bring in like 4 people in the gym and do a big Zwift ride. Same thing with running with people. It's more fun.
Do you know it'd be cool once you get that set up? Would be a fun event to do, and I'm totally in. Let's do a 24-hour.
That'd be cool.
And like do it as teams, right? Like what's the max distance we can cover as a group in 24 hours?
Have you ever done something like that?
No, it sounds fucking fun though.
That does sound fun.
Because like hang out, we'd have someone cook. And like there's food, and like even if you got, go spend an hour at a time. If we have 5 people, so every 5 hours you're up.
Yeah.
And give it hell for an hour, and like let's try to keep the intensity up instead of just grind away at it. Like how many miles can we do?
I assume we can maintain 22 miles an hour.
I think that's pretty realistic.
It's like 22 times 24.
Or
shit ton of miles.
Yeah, even if we call it 20, so that's 480 miles in a day. That's pretty cool.
20.
So if we manage 20 miles an hour for 24 hours, it's 480.
Isn't it more than that?
Mm-mm. So 24 times 2 is 48. Add a 0.
Okay. I'm trying to calculate off
I'm not
my
great
head right now.
When you're running and cycling, one of the things I've really struggled with is because not all of my cycling is performance based. Like I still like riding my bike for the sake of riding my bike. And so like if I go mountain bike ride or do something different, it's not training. I really struggle with not giving a shit about the stats of like how fast did I ride this lap last time and like can I make an improvement? The same way that you used to run.
Yeah.
I really struggle with that instead of like, yo, I just want to go enjoy. Like being on my bike today and doing 12 miles was the win. Enjoying the experience of like, it's a faster hike is what mountain biking, essentially, I'm trying to enjoy it that way and it not be training. So like I have to throw my computer in my backpack and not look at it.
I think the same thing all the time where like after Ironman prep, after this marathon too, I'm excited to run just to run.
Yeah.
I love my training right now, but when I'm running, I'm looking at my watch the whole time, watching heart rate. I'm looking at paces.
Our pace is this, and I have this far left to go. So if I calculate that back out, I know I'm doing this many, this is a mile. It takes this amount of time. I run that nonstop.
I'm the same way.
Okay.
And on the bike too, like where's my cadence at?
Yeah.
What's my power at? What's my heart rate at? So I am looking forward to like future training sessions that aren't training sessions. They're just like a group ride to have some fun or a group run to have some fun.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, when like you're constantly monitoring this data, it makes it go so fast.
Yes. You're just constantly playing games.
Because people are always, how do you run or how do you ride this bike and not get bored? Well, I'm constantly monitoring data.
Yeah, I have a ton of things to occupy my brain.
I'm constantly thinking about something. So,
but I love all that.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy that. I also love gear, which for cycling makes such a dangerous territory for me.
I'm always looking at my Garmin data at the end of the day, just analyzing everything, especially after a big, like my favorite is after a big workout day. Right now we're on the taper for this marathon, but a typical Wednesday is in the morning, I'll do anywhere from like 11 to 14 miles of work, tempo run, track workout, something like that. And then in the afternoon, I'll have a heavy leg strength training session, heavy squats. And then after that, I'll have a bike at night. So those days I'll look at my watch and easy 5,000 calories burned that day.
Yeah. How are you fueling? Like,
I'm eating so much right
just
now.
nonstop. You can't.
I'm using a lot of like our carb powder.
Yeah.
I'll use that for a lot of big training sessions.
It makes sense. Easy to digest. It's not going to get in the way. It's not going to fuck your guts up.
Right. But right now my diet is so strict because 4 days out, I don't want to add anything into my diet.
No, we're not messing up anything that's been working.
No, because one of the issues we did have is my big runs are on Saturdays. And what I was doing at night, I was always eating a bowl of Cheerios, blueberries, and raspberries before going to bed. And what started happening when we started doing these big runs in the mornings on Saturdays, like the 20 miles at marathon pace, 18 miles at marathon pace, is when we hit mile 14, I was searching for a place to drop my pants
and take a shit. Yeah, right.
Take a shit. So we're like, okay, how do we find a solution for this?
We need less fiber at night before we go to bed.
So on workouts like that, my last meal has to be at 7 p.m. And if I do that,
you have
I'm
a
fine.
poop before you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pre-run poops are like the
that
most
matters.
Anxiety-driven things ever.
For me, like I knew on competition days, especially with the games, like I usually had a pretty good poop at the hotel before heading to the field. Then I usually had another at the field. And so like then I was like, oh yeah, today's gonna be a good day.
If you can get two in, like I'm already thinking about this run 4 days out.
Right.
I'm like, all right, what do I have to do to make sure
you poop before?
I want to go twice before.
Yeah.
Because
it's easy if you decide not to fuel. The trick is fueling and then having the timing.
And especially like during the run, because I fuel a lot during the run too, is when you're consuming nutrition while training, it stimulates.
Of course. You don't want to be one of those dudes with shit down your legs finishing your marathon.
I will if I have to. I'm not missing the sub 3. But, it's one of those things where my diet is so, there's no outside variables right now because I can't afford it.
Right.
So everything's so dialed in, like rice.
Well, but that's the fun part, right? Especially with all that is like you have to control what you can control, because if there's already so many outside variables, that why would you add to the ones that you could have your shit together on? Like food, that's a variable you can fully control. You can control sleep, you can control timing, you control all these things. I can't control what the weather does that day. I can kind of try to stack the cards in my favor and say it's in Texas and it's this time of the year, but it could still get shitty. It fucking snows here for no reason.
It's also Texas in this time of the year.
Right. Now, recovery-wise, I mean, have you had to really add to that protocol to keep the body moving?
Yeah, so right now, I'm doing a lot of foam rolling. I do the compression boots for an hour a night. And then chiropractic, deep tissue massage.
Just weekly.
Massage gun, yeah. The compression boots for me have been game changing.
Which ones do you use?
The Normatec.
Yeah, I've got a pair of the Rapid Reboot.
Okay.
They're essentially the same thing. I think Rapid Reboot sells a bit cheaper.
Yeah, they have been awesome for me.
They're a game changer, and the key to those is having them convenient to put on.
Yeah.
Because if I have to roll them out of a bag and fucking, again, it's one of those barriers to entry that I'm like, I don't feel like doing that.
It's like part of my daily routine now where I wake up, I charge the boots, the console, and then...
Oh, that's right, because there's a battery.
There is.
Yeah, mine's still plug in.
No, having no plug-in...
Changes it.
Yeah. So every night for an hour, as I'm like about to fall asleep, I just throw those things on. And that's like really what I've been doing for recovery. We also use the bike a lot for active recovery. Mm-hmm. So I'll do like a 45-minute to an hour spin. Like I have one tonight. And power doesn't get over 190 watts.
Which is tough.
Yeah, it is.
It feels just moping.
It does. But like I feel better after the bike than I did before.
Now, if you're doing that on Zwift, like what do you pick a course? Like I'll typically use TikTok because it's just flat and I don't have to think about it. It's 10 and a half miles and it's flat.
The one I choose is 80. I forget what it's called. It's 82 feet in elevation.
Okay,
Because
perfect.
I have made the mistake of just choosing the default and it's like 5,000 feet in
just
elevation.
to crush you.
So the easy ride turns into just a workout.
Yeah, and so like, I'll do that TikTok. And for me, I can put it on that and then I'll put my TV on whatever I want to watch.
Yeah.
And I won't bother watching the Zwift.
Yep. I never watched Zwift.
No.
I put an audiobook in and I just like,
Does your Zwift character wear a helmet?
I don't know.
Mine doesn't. He's a fucking rebel.
I'm not really sure if mine does.
It's a false world. I don't need him having safety equipment on.
I know I recently upgraded like the bib.
Yes. What a stupid game,
Like,
right?
all right.
I've
Got
got,
like
all all these sweat scores.
Yeah. But no, like diet right now, that's the one thing that I am, I run with these other athletes who are more talented than me, but I put so much emphasis on diet and recovery.
But dude,
that
why would you want to train with people that you're better than? Always surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah. I mean, I run with like these group on Wednesday mornings and I'm running the marathon with them and they're just animals. Like they're fast as shit. I'm in like there's an elite group that runs. I'm not in the elite group, but the elite group, they're running like 5:15 paces and just crushing.
Dude, fucking Rob earlier this year, it blows me away that he's as big a guy as he is and can run. And like he did a mile training, wanted to see what's the fastest mile he could crank out.
I remember seeing that.
Ran like a low fives.
I trained for a sub 5 mile. That was one of the most painful runs.
Yeah, I fucking bet it is.
And the thing is, the guy that was pacing me, his name is Mitch Amons. He's running here in Austin. I ran a 4:53, and he was pacing me, just casually talking to me as I'm gasping for air. He's like, "Come on, Nick, you got it, you got it." I'm dying.
Dude, there's a buddy of mine, Nick Acaro. Haven't spoke to in a number of years, but was on track team with me at LSU, was a cross country runner. Wasn't a great cross country runner at Division I level or in the SEC, but then he got into ultras. I guess basically figured out that like I'm not real fast, but the pace I have, I can run indefinitely. Mm-hmm. And so he's done a bunch of 100 plus and stuff like that, and was on the USA ultra team. And he did a duathlon with me in college, and so like it was a run bike run, and so I did the bike portion and he did the run, so you could split it as a team.
Yeah.
His first 2 mile through the woods on a trail he hasn't run, he got back in 9:48.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It was like casual about it. I was like, well, I'm going to lose some ground on the bike, so get ready.
What was his second 2 mile?
Just under 10.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Wild. And then I'm sure he went and ran more that day because it's not even really a workout.
Yeah.
Fuck. That would have been my whole day if I go 2 miles in the woods.
Yeah, I know some people who just like these elite runners. I mean, I used to run doubles. I still run some doubles, but they'll do, 15 miles in the morning and then like 15 miles in the evening.
Casual.
And I would like to run an ultra at some point.
Yeah.
It is on my goal. Just for like the experience.
Right. That's how I feel about this Bryce Canyon thing. Like, dude, I'm going for an experience. Like, I'm not a runner, nor am I ever going to be. But I've also never done anything like this. And so I'm very curious about what I can learn from the endurance things, because for me as an athlete, like all the sports I've ever done, like I don't have any time to process my sport. I'm throwing or I'm lifting, like it's done in 2 seconds. And so all the feedback happens immediately with a number. Good or bad, I got as a result from where that thing landed.
Right.
With the cycling and running I've been doing, there's so much time to think about what's going on in it that's so new to me. I've never had to do anything for 5 hours.
You can analyze things as it's happening. Like you can feel, which is one of the reasons that I like running in the dark and riding in the dark.
Oh,
because
interesting.
running in the dark is, or like sometimes I'll run on a straightaway in the morning and I'll close my eyes and you can feel like where your feet are hitting. You can feel like where your hamstrings are pulling. You can feel all these different pieces and like literally self-correct with your eyes closed as you're running or cycling. Like small little things. Like you said, like a lot of these sports, you don't have time to analyze that in real time.
No.
Like
Everything for me is so explosive.
It's post.
Right. And so it's been a really interesting task to try to get better at, to get past that point of my voice saying, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. That thing like you, man, to go one more. And like, man, I've adopted it. So if I'm doing a hour ride or, you know, and some days it's like, all right, we're going to get on the bike for 30 minutes this morning. On the days that I don't want to do it, it's like, let's just go do 30 minutes. I'll lower the expectations all the way down to the intention of like, let's just pedal. And then all of a sudden, like I get to 30 minutes and I'm like, we could do more.
Yeah.
We're already at 30 minutes. What's another 3 minutes? And then I'm 10% over what I wanted to do. And like those gains add up.
It's just getting started.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say like there haven't been rides and runs I don't want to do.
Of course.
Like,
of course. That's stupid.
There's days when I wake up like, I do not want to get on this freaking bike.
I want to do this.
But once I'm on, I'm like, well, I'm on it now.
Well, to me, with training, like those are the days that matter. It's like if I can perform and get it done on the days that I don't want to do this and things aren't optimal and they don't feel good and I am a little tired and I can, that little bit of voice of like, we can rest today. You know, no one will know. It doesn't make any difference. This run today won't be the deciding factor in your performance. Those are the days that voice is trickier to outwit. But man, if you can do it on those days, the days it feels good, it's rocket fuel. When you know it all lines up.
And it feels good at the end of the day when your head hits a pillow. Those are my favorite days, man, when like I get in bed at night and I look back at the day and I think like all the shit we did today, like everything that got done, all the training sessions, all the moves in business. Like I sit back and really reflect like that's why we're pushing forward.
Yeah. Like, man, I think it's like, I guess the way I feel about my life, you know, and the way that I feel about every day is like, I want to finish on empty. Like, I'm not trying to have a bunch of reserves left over. I was thinking about just different people in the gym. And if I was to equate body types or training types or what the goal is to vehicles, you know, and I know plenty of guys that are like fit and healthy, but don't compete in anything. And so I always look at that as like, oh, you're a lifted truck on 22s. That's never dirty. Mm-hmm. Whereas like, you know, I want to build a desert race truck. That's what I want this machine to be, like beat to shit, but I want it full go.
Yeah.
And so like whenever my time is up on this earth and I have to return my body back to whatever checklist of who gets to analyze it and go like, yo, there's no resale value left on this one. We got to burn it. Like this one's not good enough to go. We can't fix it.
And I was recently watching, this kind of like triggered a thought. Ford versus Ferrari.
It's great.
Great movie.
Great movie.
I was watching that on a plane. I forget. I was going on my honeymoon, actually. I was watching this, and the entire time I was thinking about like the similarities between these race cars and training for something in fitness as the RPMs.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was so in depth with like marathon prep at that point.
Right. The RPMs are heart rate. That's exactly
RPMs are heart rate. So like there's this red line, and this red line is if you cross that, if you go too far over the red line, like
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and the car shuts down or the body shuts down. So you're teetering because in the movie, you know, he's teetering on this red line
all the time,
pushing it, and the vehicle's performing like a fucking beast. And that's where like these top tier athletes learn. This is how far I can push it without crossing that red line. And that red line is like this thin line.
And it gets thinner.
Yeah. And that's what I've learned to like when I'm training with these athletes, you know, these Olympic time trials athletes in Austin or other athletes come train with me. You can tell who are elite athletes because they know where that line's at. Mm-hmm. And you can tell.
And they don't let ego get in the way.
And they do not.
No, they're playing the long game.
And they know their body, and they know when to stop. They know when to hold up. But when I watched this movie, I just kept thinking about fitness and like RPMs being heart rate and effort.
Yeah. No, dude, I think that's exactly it. And I've told people that, like, for me, training wise with my knee and hip right now, it gave a better definition to that for me, because I can tap that red line as many times as I want. But if I cross it, I lose 2 weeks.
Yep.
So I just can't afford to cross that line anymore. But we can get close, but be smart. You know, which one is the one that provides us more forward momentum overall, and crossing that red line anymore to me doesn't. You know, not letting ego get in the way. Like, I've recently started taking boxing with a coach. It's just something fun to do. I don't know how to fucking do that, nor do I particularly know how to defend myself. So why not learn a little bit? And he'll get excited and want to push me like a new person coming in. And I'm like, man, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done today. Like, I know where that line is. I don't have to explain it to you if you agree or not. Like, I know that I'll push.
Yeah, there's workouts we've done throughout this prep so far. And if we're sucking or something and we're not hitting paces, they'll call the workout.
Call it.
Yeah, call it. Like, there's no use of digging yourself deeper into a hole.
Well, and it's having confidence in yourself as an athlete that, like, if there is one of those odd days, you don't just put the blinders on and hammer through it for the sake of saying I finished, because that can cause more of a setback than if you just would have given it the day. Like with rehab, I tell people that all the time, like, be patient with your rehab, because so many people go through surgeries or anything like that are so interested in, like, oh, I'm losing all my strength. I'm losing all this. You know, I got to get back in the gym. You know, it's been 3 weeks. And I'm like, yo, be patient. Give your body time to heal, because there's no single day of training that's going to get you to the thing you want. Yeah. You're not going to get strong today, but you can fuck it all up today. So we just have to avoid that. I just need to keep you from having a setback. And, like, the same thing with my knee. It's like, you know, we got to push that line, but, like, I can't rehab for 9 hours today and think that helps.
Is there a lot of structure you're training right now, or is it kind of whatever you're feeling?
Yeah, just whatever I'm in the mood for.
Yeah.
All my structure right now is business. It is enjoying that and managing and trying to grow and build those type of things. Training right now is, I want to be in better shape. I have more focus right now currently nutrition and diet wise than I do on what I'm doing in the gym. I'm just not terribly motivated to train right now, and I can't train the way I like to train, which is heavy and explosive. And so the basic bodybuilding stuff and rehab, like, I'll do that, but I don't call it training. It's like, basically, I'm just trying to feel better 4 days of the week when I leave the gym than when I got there.
Right.
And at some point that'll switch over. And when it does, cool, I'll be very ready. Like that, I feel it starting to come back online as, like, I want to actually train. And once dope is set up and the gym set up, I'll be ready.
That's why I'm kind of building out my gym right now for, like, my next phase of fitness.
Yeah.
You know, for me, fitness is, I think people get confused with, like, my goals sometimes with fitness. I think people want to put you in a box and say,
of course. Well, it's easy to understand that way.
Yeah. You're a bodybuilder, you're a powerlifter, you're a triathlete. After this Ironman, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to go back to, like, a hybrid style training where I'm running and doing strength training again. I miss strength training. Right. But for me, like, fitness is experimenting with all these different things and having fun with it, staying healthy. Yeah. But I'm not going to lie, like, I miss building strength right now. I want to throw some weight around. So I'm building this new gym out, timed perfect, so that when Ironman prep is complete, I have this brand new gym to just, like, absolutely destroy. Now, do you find, like, an early battle when you started kind of getting into the endurance stuff and your body changing, of course, right? Like, you're going to lose. When you lose weight, you lose strength. It's just the way things go. And whether that's a leverage change or whatever it is, you're moving less weight on the bar. Was there a tough bit reconciling that with, like, me getting stronger right now is not serving the direction we're trying to go? For about a year. Really? There's a year where I refused to stop my strength training bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. So I was building my endurance, but little by little by little, because I didn't want to lose size. I didn't want to lose strength. And I look back at, like, videos of me running then, and it just looks uncomfortable. I'm trying to hold, like, 225 pounds mass. Right. I mean, you've seen a big jack guy run. Yeah. It doesn't look right. It looks worse than this. Yeah. Which is it's just like so stiff. And for a year, I fought that so hard. And then it finally hit me where I was like, I want to do this Ironman. I want to run this marathon the best I can. Like, I want to fully submerge myself into this training to understand what it's like to actually train as an endurance athlete. So I haven't lifted upper body weights for 14 weeks.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine, dude. It'll come back online as soon as you shift focus again.
It will come back. Because for one, like, I was overtraining. I can't train 3 hours a day for an Ironman and then train another hour in the gym.
No, it's terrible.
And then the upper body weight wasn't doing anything for me to hit this sub 3 hour goal or get in a more aerodynamic position on the bike.
No, you're too big. You're too stiff. There's shit in the way.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll lose this weight and it will come back at some point. But losing the muscle and the size is actually harder than I thought it'd be.
Right?
You would think it would just
Dude,
waste.
how long have you lied to yourself that this will just disappear?
You're like afraid to miss one workout.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's been like 14 weeks. I've lost size, obviously.
Yeah.
But
you're also restricted calories to a certain extent with as much as you're doing.
yeah, I mean, I'm expending a lot.
Yeah, you're not living in a 500 calorie surplus.
No. So it's like one of those things and as I've gotten older and matured, when you're younger, you start putting on muscle.
Well, there's identity involved.
It is. And you don't want to lose it. And I finally just realized different goals for different times of life. You can always revisit those old goals and go back to that training and that style. But it's one of those things that you're told when you're younger, like when you get a little older, like your priorities will be different. No, they won't.
Right.
They change a little bit. You mature, you grow up.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to be able to kind of give yourself some freedom to, like, what you accomplished with, the bodybuilding and training for that. Like, there's a certain level of mastery that comes from a bunch of years of doing a thing. Like, you got it. You figured it out, right? And if you want to do a new thing, remembering what step one again was for the bodybuilding thing and like chasing obsession and building that fire, like you have to do that for the new thing. And you also have to be okay with being bad at this for a while.
Oh, 100%.
Right? That like, and even if you're bad at it is a higher starting point than someone else's, right? Because you're fit or whatever it is, compared to where you're trying to be in a year, you're fucking bad at it.
Yeah.
Or you should be. And so, man, go all the way in. Like, don't let this halfway thing stand in the way of it. And like, I did it for years too. I did it for years when I'd want to drop weight or anything like that. And I would use the Highland Games as my excuse of like, I got to weigh a certain amount to do this, to compete in this. And like, I was sloppy. Like, I was big and fat and got the job done, but there's better ways I could have gone about it. And I'm curious to now, if I would have been smarter then, would that have added years to my career or any of those type of things? But I want to know now, like, well, I don't have any new lessons the Highland Game's going to teach me. And so what lessons can I get from the next thing? And if I want those things, then I need to say bye to this one.
Yeah.
Louis C.K. said it, and I really liked the way he described it because he was talking about his show, Louis. And this was years ago, like whenever he decided to not renew a contract. And like they're offering him a big fucking stupid deal. And he's like, I don't want to do it because I feel like I've told the whole story of that character. And like, I know it's working well, but say if my passion is building airplanes and I built this really rad airplane and I'm flying it around. Well, at some point I have to land that airplane to build a new airplane. And I like building airplanes. And so building is the cool part. And like doing that with your fitness and your life experience and everything else is realizing that, man, you're just adding more base of knowledge to the things you know how to do well.
And that's what fitness is for me.
Same.
It's, you expose your vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And things you don't know how to do, and you learn how to do it, but you grow so much from it. You learn all these new things, you meet all these new great people, get in this new network of this new space. And for me, like that's what fitness is, just like multi-dimensional now. It's not focusing on one thing, it's focusing on all these things. And you know, when you're talking about that, I think about people building. That's why there's people that are built in like in their DNA to build and sell businesses.
Yeah, that's what they do.
You build it.
There are CEOs that if that was your goal with Bear Performance, right, was that in 5 years we're going to build this into whatever and sell it. There's someone you can hire that'll make that happen. Mm-hmm. But that means you need to let go of the reins completely so that they can make that happen. And you need to understand that that may completely change your gut ethics of where you think the design of the business is to get there. But they're focused on the goal of selling.
Yeah.
There are people that are CEOs that's what they do well, is just chase data and chase sales. Whereas as an owner with your name on it, there's other things you care about that are intangible. Of like, man, do we feel gross? Like that's a weird intangible of like, does it feel like the thing we're doing is gross? Like I don't want to do it. Even though it makes money, long term it feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a big thing we're so focused on all the time here is, for one, culture. You know, we praise our culture here all the time. And it's interesting because culture is important for a business, but it doesn't make you money.
No.
So
not directly.
Not directly, but you have to find this balance of, and this is what we strive to do, is build this business that has amazing culture and environment, but also is focused on results of generating revenue.
Yeah.
Because the more revenue we can generate,
the more culture we can build.
The more culture we can build.
Yeah.
And the more powerful our message becomes. So we talk about like these revenue goals within the business or these goals overall of the business. And when people hear revenue goals, they think, oh, money, money, money. But no, it's that money facilitates you to have a bigger splash, a bigger impact on the people you're bringing into your life. Because as a business owner, your responsibilities are huge.
Yep.
And as you build that business, you have more employees, you have more families to worry about. And you feel that responsibility more as you grow.
Right.
You bring more people in. So it's, how do we grow the business to take care of these people more? How do we pay them more? How do we give them better benefits? How do we
keep them invested in us, man?
Exactly.
That's the big one, right? So I've recently decided, as the first 2 employees I hired were one Brant and then another guy this year, Andy. And one of the things I did with that just mentally that I wanted to do was whatever my choice is of paying them, I reduced my salary by that much. And so that I'm investing in you. I know the company can afford it because we're already spending that money. But now that's money I believe that if I give you, we all do better than if I just have it. And I like the idea of that. Now, how quickly I can make myself whole again because of the increase in revenue or something like that, like that's the goal. But I like the mindset of how that makes me feel of like, I believe in this person, I'll take the risk. And like, I dig it.
I mean, you have to take the risk on people. At the same time, building and hiring a business is like it's the hardest part of business is hiring. Because
talent's tough, dude.
Talent's tough, and you feel so strongly and passionate about your business. It's your baby.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to bring people in where you see that same passion in their eyes.
And that's the culture.
And I'll look at like people within BPN, and I know they treat it like their own.
Yeah.
And that,
it's same for Brant. Like, this is a big fuck deal to him.
And you feel that in your heart.
And now I feel, we talked about it last night for a really long time. And like, because, and he never sees it this way, but I'm like, because you took a risk and came to work for me, I want the best for you. And so like, I'm responsible to that because you trusted me. I'll stay in fucking line.
Yeah.
And I like that. The other question I have for you is, so when you have goals and whatever they are, whether revenue or anything else, how long do you celebrate when you hit one?
5 minutes.
Tops.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what we do is when we hit a goal, someone goes, grabs a bottle of champagne, we go in the back of the warehouse, we shake it up, we pop it open, and we get back to work.
And then someone else cleans it.
Yeah. We're just like tossing the dumpster. But it's I'm a massive fan of just like, if we have a goal and there's something we want to do, it is said at least once a day.
Yeah.
It is breathed into the air.
Dude, you have to put it in the universe.
Yeah. And like, for example, this sub 3 hour marathon, all my shoes already for that day. It's 2, and then after I finish it, it will be
You'll fill it in.
I'll fill it in. But you have to put it out there.
Yeah, I think that matters a ton. I think putting it out into the universe really does make a big difference in setting an intention of like, I need to say it now. Something else, because the universe has been pretty good to me, the more I'm allowed to listen, I get careful about what I put into the universe. Because fuck. One of those, like, I wanted to buy an El Camino to have a car to work on. And man, as soon as I put it out into the universe, next thing I know, we fucking have people reaching out. Someone's got a car. Or then Bonnie's dad's brother-in-law had a 64 sitting ready to sell. He's not on the market to sell it, but he's happy to sell it. And I'm like, right place, right time. It just so happened that Bonnie's dad heard I was looking for an El Camino.
That's part of when other people want to help you reach your goals.
Yeah.
I'll do the same thing. I'll put something out there that I kind of want to do, and before I know it, someone else here is already like, hey, here it is for you. Like,
right.
It's ready to go. I was like, okay.
Shit. Yeah.
Guess we're doing this.
Guess we're on board. Yeah, I think, and they, that celebrating stuff, like that's one I've talked to everyone I know who does the business thing, and no one really celebrates hard over the goals. And it's not that you're not stoked. I think I think it's easy to feel like, yo, we should celebrate these things more and like feel like you're missing something. But kind of now, the more I look at it, is like, it's because, again, it's not expectations of a there. It's just because we hit that goal, it's knowledge that we're going the right direction. It's just a flag to pass and be like, yo, perfect.
Yeah.
If you and I are going to leave here and drive to LA, I don't want to see Washington State on a sign.
Yeah.
Then we went the wrong direction somewhere. So like seeing Arizona as a goal, I'm not trying to stop there, but I know that we're going the right way.
We celebrate, I don't want to call it celebration. We do more like team dinners.
Yeah.
That aren't for any reason, rhyme or reason. It's just to get the team together. But when we have like actual things that we accomplish or surpass, it's just like a high five.
Yeah, right.
But I do love doing things with a team.
Dude, the culture building's so much fun.
It really is. Like right now, one of the things we're doing is we're planning a team trip to Florida. We did one last July. So we tried it. Our new thing is one team trip in the summer and one in the winter.
Nice.
So we'll go to 30A again. We'll get 2 houses. Everyone can bring their wife, girlfriend, significant other. And it's just like no work. We're a block off the beach.
Which, as much as you can, no work.
We still talk work.
Of course. There's no way. If you own a business, quit pretending that you're going to have fucking dinners and not talk about things.
There's nothing else to talk about.
No, like, of course. That's all Bonnie and I talk about, our work shit. But it's what we love.
There's this fine line between like your work and your hobbies, and they become the same thing.
Yeah.
They really are.
Of course.
And one thing that Trey says, our director of marketing here, he says like a good business, a good culture is where you blur the lines between like coworkers and family. And that's where we're at right now it's like this blurred line.
Of course. Look at the companies that preach culture, whether that's First Form or Flagner Fail or any of these. And they've done so well. And it's to me like trying to decide, are we chasing a side effect, right? So like I look at weight loss, like the actual scale moving down is a side effect of me doing the right things and staying in a caloric deficit. So I don't want to just chase the number on the scale. I'm chasing staying in a caloric deficit and doing the right things every day. The scale will take care of itself.
Yeah.
The same way that like as a business, if you're chasing revenue and cash, it's really tough to sustain because I find like the revenue and cash are a side effect of managing my business well, having the right culture, and having the right people.
People's everything.
I'm learning.
It is everything.
I'm learning, man, and it's all happened at the right time. That's I don't have a feeling of like I wish I would have done this earlier.
Yeah.
No, it's all worked out at the right time and right place.
I held off for a long time to build the team. I mean, 18 months ago.
Well, even when you added Joe, like an outsider, like everyone's been in your family thus far.
It was me and my brother, and we hired Joe. The story of bringing Joe down, like I was just talking to him the other day. At the time, the company was making $200,000 a year.
Right.
And
right.
Joe hit me up on social media and was like, I want to come work for you. So he came down.
You're like, I can't pay you.
Live in the house with me and Preston.
Right.
Like he had an air mattress that was surrounded by supplements. Like no room in this house.
He's got no food. He's just living off of protein.
Yeah, we had like that year was the first year I started paying myself. This was 5 years after starting the business.
Yeah, 5 years.
Preston got paid. Joe got paid. We all got paid like absolute shit. And we just like lived off, but it was like Christmas every single day. It's the best way to describe it. And then,
well, because at that moment, right? Like you've realized you're doing a thing that's yours and it's working because there's a paycheck.
yeah,
And so from that, like there's that realization of like, oh, it's all mine. Like nothing's impossible. We did it. Like that's the moment of like, we did it.
yeah.
Everything from there is just progress.
It just felt like we were on our own, like these kids, like leaving. It was just like a great feeling. It's hard to describe.
No, dude, I think that's such a rad moment.
It was just a great feeling to have. And then when we got to the point where we could start bringing on more employees, that's a scary thought. Is because I want to take care of this employees as good as possible. I want to pay them as good as I can. I want to help them.
Meanwhile,
so
they're never going to live on a mattress in the house with you and Preston.
No. So it's how do I get the business to a point where I can bring on more of these people and do more of these things. And then when you realize employees and people aren't an expense, they're an investment.
Yes.
That's when it's like, bring them all on.
And that's why I do the thing with the salary.
Yeah.
That like, I'm investing in this person. I believe bringing them on will bring more money in the door than not having them here.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you'd add them. Right? If you start looking at that data instead of the fear response of managing your thing of like, how do we manage? How do we do this? But having some, and it comes from confidence of doing over time that at some point, like I trust me to perform. Like I do that. Like that one I got. And so why wouldn't, if I'm going to invest back in me, invest back in the business because I trust that we'll do it, not someone else's shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been super valuable.
It's like if someone's going to walk up to you on the street and say, I'll give you $100, or if you give me $100, I'll give you $500 back.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Yeah, why not?
Forever.
It's the same thing with people.
Dude, I had a marketing company reach out to me and they're like, we're offering a 30x, return on investment. How much can you invest? I said, all of it.
Yeah.
Will you put that in writing? You're going to fucking guarantee me a 30 time. I'll give you every penny I can find.
30x. I'll sell it.
Right. I'll sell my fucking house.
I'll sell everything I own.
Yeah, exactly. You going to put that in writing, my friend? Well, yeah, that's what I thought.
Overpromise, underdeliver.
That's just what I was hoping for. And man, the number of snake oil salesmen out there that do it.
Yeah, it's true. But you know what? They get a lot of the beginners.
You do. You get all the beginners, man, and you can watch even the people we know that operate out of that scarcity. You just watch their circle dwindle. Mm-hmm. Because all they can do is burn bridges.
Yeah.
They're not building anything new.
When I got started, I bought into a lot of that stuff. Like people say, hey, we want to help your business grow. Here's what we'll do for you. Here's what you'll get.
Oh, this was like I know you signed up with like a YouTube partnership early on.
I did, yeah. But there's been like worse cases where it's like, I mean, I remember the first Facebook marketing company that I hired. And this was probably 2014, 2015. It's like probably 3 years after we started the business. And I'm like 23 years old. Preston's 20 years old. And me and Preston walk into it was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We walk into their office. We're sitting at this conference room and we're talking to them. And they're like, how many orders do you guys want to do a day? I said, I want to do 20 orders a day.
20 orders a day. Fuck yeah, man.
At the time, we're doing like 2 orders.
Yeah.
And they look at us and like, we don't know if we can make that happen for you.
No.
It's like, oh, shit. Like, but if you give us more money, we can make it happen. I said, I had like $3,000 left in my business bank account from a $20,000 loan. I said, take it all. Lost all that money.
All of it's gone.
But that wasn't like the only time that kind of stuff happened. I had to learn along the way of people.
You get better at deciphering bullshit.
Yeah, people will overpromise, underdeliver time and time again. But it's best when I've learned. I'm going to take it on myself. And like, I'd rather learn these things.
Yeah, because then you have it forever.
Have it forever. And then I can identify bullshit and non-bullshit.
Yep. And man, when you do find like a quality company that manages a thing like we've talked about with Jump or anyone else, like, oh, it's nice.
We just signed a contract with this new company who is developing our new mobile app, and they're going to do some things on our website. And it was one of those companies you start working with and you're like, I finally found gold.
Oh, dude. Yeah. There's a handful that as soon as, like, for one, Jump was one of those for me that like, oh man, now we're actually using the emails that we've built this list that I just never have time to let it get to my priority to push.
Yeah.
And so it's just this wasted resource sitting in my fucking, in my shed, I guess, as you would want to call it, like business that, well, we've got X thousand number of people on this list. We should probably figure out how to market to them since they're already interested in the company.
And email marketing it's huge.
It's huge.
It's powerful.
Dude, as soon as the email goes out, I know sales come through.
Yeah.
You can see it every day.
You can see all the people go on the site instantly.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's like, bring, like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things about business, e-commerce, product-based business that you learn along the way.
Well, we're all in a new space, too. Like, I mean, the job that I have doesn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah. So people are still figuring it out. But to me, still, building the team.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's been the most rewarding. Like, my job right now, as we've built this team and duties are delegated and responsibilities are kind of spread throughout, like I can confidently say, and I was telling Steph this the other night, like, I feel like I was born for what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, right.
And it feels so good to be in a spot where you feel like the glove fits and you're somewhere where you're meant to be.
Well, and I guess, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man, because like that's, I would say in the last 2 years, that's really been what it started to feel like of like, oh, this is what I'm good at, not the doing 12 things.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I had time to learn all those jobs because now I understand what that job actually entails from someone who's talented. And, and that way I'm not crazy when I'm like, hey, Brant, as you're doing all of our video editing, you need help because I need to know that you have 10 years of gas tank in you. And at the pace you're going, this doesn't work. Mm-hmm. I don't need you to die in a year and a half and hate me and then not want to work here anymore. So let me get help so we can constantly keep doing better and realizing those things because I know what editing video takes. And if you don't, it's easy to just be like, well, video editing's magic. Then you don't know any of the steps.
Turn it around like this.
Yeah, like, oh, we'll see that this afternoon, right? Like, no, no, we won't. We'll see it in a week and a half.
Yeah. That's why I'm a big fan of hiring and promoting within.
Yeah.
So we've had multiple employees start packing orders here at BPN. Like Joe, for example.
Yeah.
Joe started packing orders, and then he moved to customer service, and now is director of quality control, which is a massive program. But when you can promote within, they understand how all the other pieces of the puzzle work in the business.
And then they can manage.
And they're making decisions not based off just their role, but how it affects all the other rules. And it's powerful.
Right. And I mean, with the business we run, there's really only one job in that business that's not outsourceable, and that's being Nick Bear.
Right.
And so the way I look at it is the better team I can build around me so that I can be the best Matt Vincent, that's the most beneficial thing we can do. And that way Nick Bear only has to focus on the jobs that Nick Bear has to do, because I can't get someone else to do them. And that way you're only doing those and you're not distracted by needing to edit a video tonight.
Yeah.
And then trying to figure out how sleep also somehow fits into your life.
Sleep still hasn't fit into my life.
No, it never will. It never will.
It's like the hard balance of they counteract each other. Being a business owner and then training for something athletically, it's just like business always has to it always takes priority over sleep.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not even putting hard work on like this pedestal or like saying you don't need sleep. Like just keep working.
Dude, it's smart work.
It's smart work, but you know how it is where you get caught up in something. You look at the clock and it's like rolling up to midnight. But you're just so...
But you're in the zone.
You're
like,
so
now's
in
the time to
zone.
stay on the gas pedal. Like, I can't stop right now. But also, because our lives are the way they are, if I need to go to bed earlier tomorrow night, I just will.
Yeah.
Or take a nap. I can find 30 minutes if I need to.
It can be flexible.
Right. Enough to recharge. I mean, how is it now? Because I'm sure as the audience continues to grow, there's people who have just jumped on board, and this is chapter 1 of the story. And so it's got to be... Man, overnight success, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people don't know that you were doing this out of your basement in Philadelphia, and then you got deployed to Korea.
It's like I almost feel like I'm in a second life right now.
Yeah.
Because my life when I was in the Army and building the brand in Korea and just starting the business, it feels like a completely different life.
Oh, right.
And that was like 3-4 years ago.
I feel the same about me that was throwing.
Yeah. So it's like people that only catch up now, it's sometimes hard to not realize they haven't watched everything leading up to. And kind of the way we like create content with intention for social media, for my YouTube channel at least, is I kind of look at it the same way we look at advertising on social media, where there's prospecting, where you're trying to get a cold audience that never heard of you before, and then there's remarketing, where you're serving ads to an already warm audience. Mm-hmm. So you have cold and warm. Well, like this Ironman prep series is our way of prospecting.
Yeah, sure.
Where we're trying to acquire this cold audience that's never heard of me.
And it's a thing you're into.
And it's a thing I'm into.
Right.
Like social media, it's not, I mean, there's strategy behind it, but there's also like, I want to fucking do an Ironman.
Right. It makes it easier if, to me, it doesn't work really well unless it seems genuine.
Yeah. So it's like there's these things I want to do in my life. How do we do them, but also tie them into helping BPN grow? It's a win-win. But like Ironman, like I wanted to do this other Ironman, and I wanted to do it right this time and be better at it. So why don't we create this really good series to help people who've never done one before, or just follow the journey,
or just learn about it
and just learn. And we're probably going to acquire this new audience from it. And then after the Ironman series, let's go back to some more business stuff to like introduce them to BPN. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's strategy behind everything we do, but I think if you go into it with no intention or strategy, like, what are you doing?
Now, I think with your content, one of the things I've noticed and I really liked with yours all the way through was that you were really transparent about business growth. And I mean, do you think the audience really, really buys into that line of content of like, you're watching it happen? Like, I'm not lying to you.
Yeah, I still see a lot of comments that, man, I remember watching you in South Korea. I remember like you guys last year, like this past year's growth is insane. And with a lot of the stuff,
you should be in the driver's seat. It's gnarly.
It is a wild ride, man.
Yeah, man.
Holy crap, this past year. But the thing with like us showing all this business stuff, there's not necessarily a lot of strategy or intention behind that. That just fills some content. Like
sure. No, I understand.
There's so much stuff going on here.
It's also nice advertising.
It is. Yeah. There's so much stuff going on here. It's like, let's just show some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the daily packages that we show getting picked up. Just showing that, showing people. Like, I truly believe I'm living the American dream where I went into the Army, get out of the Army, built this business with like pure intention and ethics and morals, and we're doing it right. Like we're not doing it like a lot of other companies out there doing. We're doing things right, and
I think it's worth admitting that you're doing it to what feels right for you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's easy to. I try to be careful and not get caught up in the mentality of that someone else is right. I need to place any feeling on.
Yeah, you're right with that.
You know, as long as their pursuit doesn't get in the fucking way of mine, I don't care how you pursue yours.
No, that's true. A lot of it's just, you know, we want to build a company a certain way with this foundation. You know, this past year we grew so much that we got to a point now, early 2021, where we said, let's take a step back. We have to relay this foundation because we just 4x'd employees and revenue. We need to rebuild this base so we can move forward on this foundation, because if we don't, things will just crumble. So that's hiring more people. That's implementing new systems and infrastructure and automation so that we can move forward together. And it's not like one part of the business moves, the other part moves a little bit. So right now we're like back into a base building phase to just solidify the foundation.
Right on. And that gets tricky too, because you can't stay off the gas pedal for the other side.
No. So it's like you're taking a step back in some aspects, but you're taking a step forward in others.
Well, I think the way I look at this, right, like is if here's a starting point and your business is growing like this, you want to keep things moving forward, but at the same time, someone needs to address, why are things still stuck here? Why isn't the whole window of the business growing? Why aren't our weaknesses still getting better with everything else? Like
right.
Not just play to the strengths, but let's get rid of the trash.
So we hired someone, Wyatt, who's the executive assistant. He's doing an amazing job. He just started like a week ago, but he's coming in and just cleaning up all these systems and infrastructure we had so we can keep pushing forward on it.
Yeah.
And that's been game changing too.
Well, because at some point you don't realize like all these little bitty lags in the system. And then if someone else who has that bird's eye view, like we talked about, can look at it different, especially with their name's not on the door.
Yeah.
And you being a CEO that I hire people I trust and I hired them for a reason. So that means their input's important and it's not your ego. Then you can listen. But a lot of owners get caught in that, like, I'm the fucking boss.
Oh, I hate that.
That's the worst.
I hate it.
It couldn't be any less useful for your company.
Ego, like we say here, like there's no ego here. Best idea wins. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter how long you've been here, what your job is. If your idea is the best, we will move on your idea.
And I think people will get confused that ego's different than self-confidence.
100%.
Right? And because self-confidence is learned. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a fucking ego. Like, I believe in me and that I'm a winner. But you have to. But I don't believe I'm always right.
Right.
And I know that there's way smarter people than me. So why not learn from them?
I agree 100%. I am fully confident in my competency to grow the business.
Right.
And take it in the right direction. But there are many times where I'm running and I have an idea. I come to the office, I go to Jordan, our creative director. Dude, I thought of this. And he says, let's take a step back and think this real quick.
Yeah, right.
And after he talks to me, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yep.
But you have to have those voice of reasons.
You have to have sounding boards.
To put you in line, put you in check.
Yep. You know, and that's man, even in like my relationship with Bonnie, one of those things we've talked about, like how I kind of feel about stuff with her, and it is, I trust that Bonnie has Bonnie's best intentions at heart. And that she's making decisions that she thinks are best for her. And she's done them for 30 plus years before I got involved. And she's doing just fine. And she needs to trust that I'm the same. Like, I don't need my life micromanaged either. And so what that allows is like, yo, if she's plowing ahead and going forward until she asks for advice, I'm just support. I don't always need to input and be like, hey, have you thought about this? Which is, maybe laying these little tiny seeds of doubt or any of that type of stuff that maybe not needed. Maybe it's just not the route I would do it. It doesn't make her right or wrong. But what it does allow is if either of us see the other person step the wrong way, if she does say like, hey, this feels off, I fully listen because I don't ever hear much from her. That whenever she does say something, she gets full veto power if she needs it.
I really like that.
Right? That like, yo, you're right. Because you don't ever chime in, I trust you when you do.
Yeah. I think that's powerful.
I think so too. And I think that's trust in your partner. That like maybe Bonnie's, whereas if my whole goal can be set on hate brand growing, her focus is Matt Vincent. And so, she can kind of help maybe see some traps that are along the way that if I'm just chasing hate brand, Matt's going to get lost somewhere. And then that cripples hate brand further down the road. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think it's important to have a couple people that like, if they need to say, hit the brakes, you fully trust them.
It's for real.
Yep.
It's an interesting way to put trust because I think trust gets thrown out there so many times, especially in a relationship, whether that's with a significant other, like business
partners or anyone.
I think people think of trust in one way, but not necessarily the way you just said. I think that it can be like super powerfully applied to the way people look at trust.
I think it's important to have people in your life that are completely biased to you. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want them in the way. Like I don't need micromanagement on my everyday decisions, but like, yo, if you see me what looks like get a little too loose on a thing, let me know.
Yeah.
That I've gone too far, I've gone too crazy. Like you follow Elliot Hulse?
I used to.
Fair enough. So again, like it would have been cool if maybe somebody along the lines was like, hey man, let's hit the brakes on some of this just a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe get out of the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Because somebody fucking mentioned that to me. It's like, you should have Elliot on the podcast. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to argue with the guy for an hour, and I don't agree with any of the things he says. So why would I want to have much of that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I would personally want, if I was going in the wrong direction.
Well, like a Preston.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If he ever was like, yo, this feels really wrong, you'd take account.
I remember in 2017, it was kind of like when I first met you. Mm-hmm. It was like really when I was first getting in the fitness space. Business was growing. My social media platforms were growing. I just got in the Army. I was like trying to figure out where I was supposed to go and who I was supposed to be kind of. And I remember like you never really pulled me aside and told me where to go, but you were a big mentor to me because
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I saw like you knew who you, and from my eyes, you knew who you were and where you were going. And I was kind of like 2017, I was like, where the fuck am I going? Who am I? And I would always look to you and be like, all right, Matt's like making these moves. I'm going to follow in those footsteps rather than some of the other people that I'm following. And
it's not long-term sustainable.
I'm so glad I followed in those footsteps.
Dude, it's not long-term sustainable. To me, that was like the playing too much of the YouTube game, right?
Yeah.
Like a perfect example of that is a dude we know, what's his Goody Beats or whatever is that?
Logan,
right? Where his whole gimmick became keto. Yo, you're trapped. Like you went as far into the maze as you can following this route and you don't get to reverse now. And so now you got to make fucking keto content forever. You're not allowed to change and adapt as a human with what your interests do. And like, I was never interested in that. I could see that trap far enough out. They're like, yo, I don't want to make a fucking 10,000 calorie video. I'm a grown up.
Yeah. And I was falling into that content trap in the beginning.
Well, because it benefits. You can see growth.
Yeah. And it's quick return.
But I don't just want eyes. Like the overall goal for me isn't eyes. I want eyes that give a fuck.
Exactly. You're telling a story. You're building like a community, not based around a topic, based around your message and what you're trying to represent.
And then with it said, like I don't know enough about what he does with the keto or his channel or anything. It's just an example,
Right.
Of I'm also not his target demographic.
Yeah.
So that's fine. You know, I think he's probably doing well. He's doing way better on YouTube than I have after producing fucking 1,300 videos.
I mean, that's right. When I made the change, you know, I kind of look back and I think I got lucky with some of like the content I was creating because
where I saw you changing content too was about the time Nystat had really started blowing up.
Yeah.
And what you managed to start doing there really, really well was being able to tell stories.
And I learned that from Nystat when I was in Korea.
It's something I want to get better at and I'm not good at. And I'm trying to develop it and be smarter about it. But I've always shot things on such the fly that you can't do both well.
Well, I sat in my room in South Korea for 9 months studying his videos and learning storytelling. Those 9 months in Korea were like such a foundational part of everything I built because I learned how to tell a story.
You had time.
I had time.
Yeah.
And I took that into all the things I did after that with video production, the company, bringing Go One More into the brand. You know, being able to, like, we are a storytelling brand. And I found a lot of power behind that. And then when I transitioned more of the endurance space, I just assumed like my audience would leave me behind. But I got to a point where I said, they're either going to love it or hate it.
At some point, you got to have confidence in knowing that, like, yo, are they invested in me or are they invested in bodybuilding?
Yeah.
And the ones that are just invested in bodybuilding, you guys can go.
And where
It's cool, man. Someone will fulfill that role for you.
Yeah, where content creation started to become fun again is where I stopped caring about like I know some people love the trends on social media, like in YouTube creation.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what trends going on.
Don't either at all.
I'm gonna create whatever I'm gonna create. And
for me, it was always like, I'm fucking 38. I'm a goddamn grown man with gray hair. I feel fucking silly.
yeah, so I stopped chasing these trends on like what's popular. I just started creating these series based off of what I wanted to do. And they started doing
really
okay.
well.
Yeah, like they started picking up. And when we create content now, we really don't look at other sources for like inspiration, like these big brands like Nike and their ability to tell a story.
Right.
But what's going on in the market right now for us to create something like that is reactive because from the time that was incepted, created, and brought to life, that was probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so like we want to be the 2 years out storytelling that people are then recreating.
Right. That's, you know, was recently I'd heard something as a goal, right? And it was like, you know, who's your hero? Who do you look up to? And the answer was me in 5 years.
It's true.
And now tomorrow, I'm not any closer. It's still 5 years tomorrow. But what I'm chasing is who I think that guy is.
Yeah.
And I dig that. I like that concept.
It's a proactive. We're always talking proactive approach.
Dude, right? Look, that's the biggest thing I see as a problem with our fucking country at the moment is we've pigeonholed ourselves to being only reactive in healthcare and fitness, in our health or in politics. And we wait for something to happen and then we fucking panic. And we have an expectation over how we think a policy could fix it instead of like, what's better than what we're currently doing? And then we can improve on that. Mm-hmm. Like there's steps instead of like, this has to be fixed immediately on the first try, which is impossible.
It's all reaction.
It's all reactionary. And man, living on your heels is a dangerous fucking place. You got to be head down and bring in the fight to keep making progress.
Yeah. That's like our biggest focus all the time. And I'm always thinking the things we're building right now, the systems we're implementing, the team we're building, we might not, like, there's projects we're working on right now that probably won't come to life for 2 years. But I know when they come to life in 2 years, it's going to look like it was just created overnight. But
of course,
there is this.
But that's the magic.
I think like, it's this orchestra. It's building. And then when the climax is here, it's like everyone that wants to hop onto that orchestra at that point, that ship has sailed. You're way too far behind.
Right.
You're playing a different tune, like in the back.
Well, that's something like I've talked a lot with, like Kelly Starrett's always kept me, you know, how many people have come into the space now and use his same terminology for stretching or mobility or any of these types of things, right? Like nothing was called something WOD when they started, and mobility WOD was his thing. And so then the space gets super, super crowded. And then there's other people that there's a guy out west, a Smashworks guy. This fucking guy got in trouble for the U.S. Open one year with CrossFit because he doctored a video. And like still apparently like his audience doesn't find that a problem. And like I have to remind myself, I'm like, man, they didn't leave when he did that. Like your audience is probably going to stick around through some other things.
Yeah.
But like he'll use the same stuff. And it's like, oh, we're going to work on this and noodle on it for 2 minutes and, you know, get through the gristly stuff. I'm like, dude, how about a nod? Just one nod that fucking Kelly invented your vocabulary and terminology. And then Kelly's smart enough now that like they've pivoted and changed the name of the whole brand now to the Ready State. And I dig it. Like it's about having athletes ready to perform at all times.
Yeah. If you're doing something new and something right, someone's going to come in, recreate it, probably try to throw more money at it.
Yeah.
And hope that it's more successful.
Well, it's like people getting stoked on the new Bronco coming out. Dude, that's been in the works. Like somebody there is now already working on what the next revamp of the Bronco is.
Oh,
like they're tired of that one. They're so tired of looking at it.
Well, Steph used to be in the auto industry. It's like vehicles that are coming out now for like Ram, they were working on those when she was there, and that was like 3-4 years ago.
Right.
So it's crazy how long it takes for these projects to come out. But like Kelly, like you have to be able to pivot, not just in business, but every part of your life. Like if you can't pivot, that's one skill that if you don't have, you are set up for failure.
Yeah.
You will crash and crumble whenever something doesn't go as planned.
Yeah. Dude, this has been awesome. I know we're running into time. I want to film a few things with you too. You gym tours, stuff like that.
Yeah.
One thing that's been a game changer performance for me, and I talk about it and I've been lucky enough to work with them, is do you have a chili pad on your bed?
I do not, but I've seen you posting about that.
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
I will take care of that. You need one.
Yeah, I've seen you posting
Dude,
that.
being able to stay cold all night. I can literally sleep in a onesie under my blankets and never get hot.
See, I wake up middle of the night.
Sweating. Of course you do.
And rip my shirt off, yeah.
Of course you do. Dude, I can keep my bed 50 degrees.
Oh, that's nice.
Like you can set it too cold.
And then it won't affect Steph?
So it's a king size bed. Mm-hmm. She has her own controller and she can set her own temperature.
That's nice.
And so like Bonnie's temperature, like mine, just whatever the max cold I'm allowed to have it is where mine stays. She'll have hers set. So like at 7 p.m., it turns on and warms. And so when she climbs into bed, her side of the bed is already nice and cozy. And then it cools down like about 10 p.m. as she falls asleep. And then we both have ours set up to be an alarm clock too. Since most days I don't wake up to an actual alarm, I kind of just wake up between 5 and 6 usually. And so you started using this, so it naturally starts warming up to about 85, 90 degrees, and it'll pull you out of deep sleep. Because eventually you're just like, I'm warm.
That's pretty awesome.
And you get up and start your day. It's a really nice way, right? Instead of an aggressive tone, like it's a bit more circadian rhythm. It feels a bit, more natural. I'll take care of it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Great people, dude. Really, really great product. But yeah, man. Other than Bear Performance Nutrition, I imagine at this point everyone knows where to find all your stuff. But let's go ahead and do it anyway. Yeah,
Instagram, Nick Bear Fitness. See a bunch of shirtless running shots right now.
Yes.
4 days out, baby. And then YouTube, just type in Nick Bear. Ironman Prep Season 2 is like 13 episodes deep right now. We release one episode every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's go do a tour.
All right.